Hello everyone and welcome to this video. It is the new moon in Capricorn, Tuesday, January 12th, 2021. I would like the mouse to show up on here. However, I'm on the Mac, so it's a whole story there, but we're going to make it work. So we have the imagery. We're going to vibe with this. We're going to go with it. Okay. So the fifth house is going to be a big focus, and I'll start with that. But I want to talk about the biggest degrees of this moon and how they may affect us, and take it from there to see which aspects affect you. So we're going to start with the fifth house because that's where the moon and sun is in Capricorn, 23 degrees. They're both 23 degrees, okay, lasting about, say, 13 minutes. Now, you can take that, I always say in meditation, is going like, over that point, like maybe 20 minutes, 21 minutes, 30 minutes meditation if you wanted to do some kind of meditation or your ritual or your practice for the new moon, okay? But you don't have to go over 20 minutes or 21 minutes, especially if you're doing some form of meditation, but you can definitely go 30 minutes or an hour. And this degree is pretty strong, so you will be feeling or seeing the effects of the fifth house experience. So let's look at that. The fifth house covers, it's Leo's house, and the ruling planet is Venus, okay? Now, Venus is about beauty, love, also like Mars, a fighter, but in a feminine way. So what are we experiencing, or what could we see with this fifth house energy? Okay, we can see things that in relation to or affect our fun, our creativity, children, romance, but it also covers our self-expression and how we express ourselves. Okay, and it also takes into account our below the surface experience, right? So what's happening below the surface that we don't see? That could be an interesting factor that plays into this experience. It covers the risks we take and also our hobbies, what brings us pleasure, like I said before. So we can see some of these play out. It's also our personal creation. So what are we personally creating? It's that house of, I create. So what's some personal creations? Things can affect our good fortune that we do, right? Our pleasure, our good fortune, our own personal creativity. So this is really powerful. It deals with our love affairs. This could be a relationship, or maybe being so in love with someone that we base our actions off of that. It can be a childlike spirit, so we can see some reactions like that. Okay, we can see reactions of joy, but we can also see drama. Okay, and actions of self-expression for the fifth house. Now we have Pluto in the fifth house at 24 degrees, so just a little bit more, 24 degrees 35 minutes. We also have Neptune in in Capricorn. Okay, Neptune 18 degrees 44 minutes in Capricorn. So these are the four bodies that's in Capricorn: the moon, the sun, Pluto, and Neptune. Okay, so what I want to go over first is Pluto in Capricorn, right? And the sun and the moon in Capricorn. So the sun in Capricorn is a lot of knowledge about ourselves. So we can look at knowledge about ourselves, the psychology of ourselves and that transformation that we make. This is going to be a very powerful goal for us to obtain in our life, right? So this will be a very important focus if you are a Capricorn as a birth sign, but also because having the sun also in Capricorn right now. Happy birthday to all the Capricorns. This is a knowledge of self and your mental, your mind's transformation of yourself is very important for you in your life, right? And when the day is in this aspect, these are the issues that we can focus on, is seeking to analyze and to renew ourselves, right? A strong influence of that, and making sure that the ego isn't being too dramatic in this transformation. So it's going to be a great power, great influence, okay, and really deep and intense personal look at ourselves, okay. Now with the moon wants to work on our insecurities from our childhood. Okay, that's one message that we can look at. A strong need to be loved, right? This aspect, it's set us to maybe cause conflicts with our loved ones because we're insecure and have a stubborn behavior. So we might be noticing stubborn behaviors, conflict with loved ones, okay? Not wanting to make any compromising and hiding our true feelings and making it hard to get along and even getting to the core matter of the issue. This aspect talks about conflicts between mother and daughter relationship, where the mother might not want the child to be more independent. And even though looking now at Pluto's effect, now even though Pluto is a very subtle energy. Yeah, it has a very subtle influence because it's so far back, right? It still deals and influences us in our transformation and our rebirth and our regeneration, right? And that regeneration is like restoring ourselves spiritually and renewing ourselves. Now, looking at Pluto in Capricorn, it's about our desires, right? This planet's energy, it takes form in Capricorn where our desires is what is unsatisfied in our relationship. So is money, is work, is sex, relationship. What are these issues that are not being met? And right now what we're going through with the virus and the social unrest that's going on, what happened on January 6th and everything 5 or 6 years ago that led up to that, right? So things are very strong when you have two major things going on at once, okay? And within one thing, there could be 3 different major issues or more. So having 2 major things, each stressor, if you will, or each issue really can break down in its own pie to many other sub-issues, okay? So this Pluto in Capricorn is looking at what is unsatisfied. And as an earth energy, they really want to have structure and organize because they're ruled by Saturn, right? So there has to be some form of structure, but if the structure is not good, there's an issue there, right? So this, what in our own personal life and then in our big social life is unsatisfied, right? So we're looking at our primal feelings too, and it's a deeper and more structural look at how we can organize these thoughts of self and even getting deeper than our daily life, ourselves, but our spirit and what lies hidden within us. And Capricorn, and since we're in this winter dark season, it's like you think of shadow work, right? And you think of what's unseen. And I mentioned in the tarot reading, Carl Jung, right? And the unconscious self, bringing that to the conscious, and really working on those core issues from before we were 6, and how we were raised, and how our parents taught us to deal with love and not loving, and emotions. Who's allowed to cry, who's not allowed to cry, who you're allowed to like, who are you not allowed to like. So all these little core beliefs and how they structure us as individuals for people that we are in marital relationship with, and even our own personal relationships. So it really goes very deep into the structure of ourselves, even though Capricorn rules the matrix, the business world, structure, organization, government, all of that, right? So Capricorn isn't naturally spiritual, so they will review it, this spirituality, this self, with more of a business mind to see how it can help or hinder a situation. Right, so they're going to look at it with an analytical mind and really try to focus on the core issues and really write it down and work on it like a business meeting way, and schedule it and all of that, and it's just their way of processing it. But what it represents for this new moon is the work that we need to do. It needs to get done. Right, so it's a very critical rebirth of self in many ways. So this alignment is going to look at you, like what you haven't been facing, right? So it's looking at what you haven't been facing, and the issues will rise to the main focus. And then this can be your creation or your destruction. So the actions that you're taking with this Pluto in Capricorn, it's either going to be a good creation of something that's good, meaningful, sensible, or it can be a destruction and then needs more work later on, right? So like all planetary alignments, this is the interpretation, and we look to see how it affects our personal life and our social life. All right. Okay, so now let's look at a few other aspects that I want to cover. Uranus is in Taurus. So people with Uranus in Taurus, right? But also we can still see this energy in the days leading up to the new moon or on the new moon. So, or experience this, right? So this is what we're talking about for all these aspects. So quick and fast, sudden financial changes, and also in your property, right? And breaking free from kind of a traditional practice and wanting or longing for changes that are considered traditional changes, or values that maybe you feel like it's not for you with this Uranus in Taurus energy, or just realizing that it might be old or it just does not work for you. Okay, and they can show no consistency. So you might realize within yourself or in others there's no consistency in what a person has created or done or whatever. Okay, and you notice the creation of things, the creativity of things, right? So this is that Uranus in Taurus energy. And Uranus is a day ruler, so the day will bring a lot of activities within the day. Okay, more say than night. It will be in the light hours, the sun hours, that you'll see the big change. Uranus squares Saturn. This is what I want to focus on. Uranus squares Saturn, 3 degrees 40 minutes. So responding to the let me plug the mic in. I don't know if you will notice the difference. Okay, but responding to the restrictive energies of Saturn is what's happening, right? The need to set up rules so that there is some form of organization, right? Uranus is playing the repression energy by subduing to the actions of someone or something, or by force, right? And then Saturn wants to control how something looks or how it is perceived. So we can notice that. And at the same time, this creating some kind of structure for the future. So it's like a give and take kind of energy, right? It's like a play. So you might be experiencing conversations, or it might be a hidden kind of energy, right? Everything that's happening is under the surface until it's presented because of where it is in the chart. So it's kind of like a kind of a hidden kind of action. Okay. And at the same time, it's creating something, like I say, some kind of structure for the future. But Aquarius is housing, it's in the house of, it's in Aquarius, right? So the outcome is trying to be a good outcome, a better outcome, and do what is right. And they're trying to do it right now. That's what the energy is. And these two planets, if these two planets were not in Aquarius, then the outcome would be too restrictive. So it's right now, this energy is trying to make things right, okay? And this Uranus squaring Saturn is really trying to get things organized in the best way. So that's what we are looking at right now. Okay. And this Saturn energy being in Aquarius is really trying to find a softer but more sensible, more, not softer really, more timely, moving with the times, okay, and what is necessary. So Uranus squaring Jupiter, 1 degree, 6 minutes. This aspect has like a very strong and external views, and it needs independence. It needs its own freedom, right? So this aspect is strong, and it's also has extreme views and needs its freedom, its space, its independence to thrive. Okay. Now, people with this aspect, they force their opinions, right? And some are reluctant to compromising. They may become more arrogant, or more extreme or unrealistic in what they're looking at with this Uranus squaring Jupiter, because Uranus has this fighting against energy, and Jupiter wants to expand in the most easiest flowing way that makes everyone feel like they're winning, they're shining, they're achieving, right? That's the energy of Jupiter. And Uranus wants that too, but Uranus wants it in its way and has a more like a fighting energy. Okay. So this aspect likes to argue about opinions, and some are more intelligent and curious, and sometimes it can be more argumentative instead of trying to be more intelligent and curious and trying to find different angles to go about it. And their creativity and their creative abilities tend to be more destructive and chaotic and rebellious, because Uranus is known for that. So even within their creation, there is this chaotic nature of it, right? And being in future thinking Aquarius, Jupiter loves to start something new and to bring about some kind of new prosperity in its action. But Uranus is squaring Jupiter, and it aims to challenge any kind of good that Jupiter is trying to create, any kind of joyous energy. But we're not painting Uranus in complete negativity, but with this aspect, there has to be an agitator in there. There has to be some kind of, good and bad in a sense, right? A little challenge. So this aspect aims to disrupt or agitate any form of success, happiness, or prosperity. So creating some kind of restriction or obstacle in getting there, right? So it's like this like lesson on the ride, right? So this aspect it weakens, it's weakening the main goal, if you will. And Uranus is taking more of a negative stance because, you know, they are in this energy of future thinking. And Uranus is used to what it knows. So it's trying to adjust to this Aquarius energy. And like I said, it doesn't mean that Uranus is always negative. It's just trying to adjust, okay? And it can become negative from the way it's viewing things, right? So in this aspect, it really is trying to shift to a more understanding energy and build up its Uranus energy, but in a new way, a new shape, a new form. And the planets are just simply playing a role in showing us what we are reflecting in our own actions. Okay, so I never like to make one planet completely negative. It has its greatness, but this Uranus energy is fighting against a new form of change that is maybe needed. Okay, now let's look at the MC squares Jupiter, 4 degrees 37 minutes. This aspect, it helps a person to find their path in life. And the negative part of this is people might lose their own direction because they're trying to help someone else. So it's about balancing what your goal is with someone else's goal and making sure you have the time to actually be helpful to someone else, because your gift and blessing is not only in your own life path and your own goal, but when you help someone else, it actually helps you because you're in that MC, that spotlight. You're getting all this attention, but you have to balance your creativity and your relationship with others. How much time are you going to help someone? How can you manage your own time and not get too distracted, and your time management will help you to balance yourself, and then you will be able to create great relationships and achieve your goal. So this new moon is showing energies of great change that needs to happen, and it's going to be happening so fast and sudden. It will affect property. It will affect finances with this Uranus and Taurus, because Taurus is about hey, this is mine, this is my home, we set it up this way. And then if Taurus feels like you're invading on the agreement that's set, right? Then this Uranus squares Saturn, and in Taurus is like, hey, this is my home, be kind, you know? So it's really putting in this energy that will create a better understanding, and having it being in Taurus, it will definitely have some horns, and it will definitely, Taurus energy is like, hey, you know, let's respect my home, in a sense, right? And this new moon with all of these aspects that I wanted to focus on, that I felt was powerful because they're so strong. It has us looking at ourselves in that sun energy. The moon energy is looking at our emotions, and it's trying to put together for us the strongest alignments, right? In Earth, this Earth element, and today the actual strongest element is Earth, and Capricorn is an Earth sign, right? So it's putting into motion how quickly we are going to see this Uranus in Taurus, Uranus square Saturn energy, Uranus square Jupiter energy, and the MC squares Jupiter energy, and the Pluto, okay? How Pluto relates to our sun, how Pluto relates to our moon, how Pluto relates to Capricorn, okay? And our desires, right? This Pluto in Capricorn is our desires meeting up with how we feel that we need to protect ourselves. That Uranus energy is, how can I protect myself and still get over this square with Jupiter to prosper after that, right? And the Uranus energy is squaring also with Saturn, trying to find that structure. So with this Aquarius energy is going to help us to realize what is most important to us, right? This Aquarius energy is going to kind of next door to Capricorn, saying, hey, how can we balance ourselves in this life? How can we have a rebirth of how we view ourselves and how we're being viewed? Okay, so without saying too much or going way too deep into it, because sometimes the more you say, the less it might be taken in and understood, right? So it's really just restructuring ourselves and having a more powerful rebirth of self, right? So make sure that you take in this kind of organizing and grounding energy, because this new moon is really about organizing, and out of this organizing, what is going to come off it. Okay, because inside of Aquarius, we have I believe Mercury, Jupiter, and Saturn. Okay, and then we have Pluto, the Sun, and the Moon in Capricorn. So they're right next to each other, and these energies feeding off of each other. Okay, so the way we communicate, the way we thrive, the way we structure ourselves is all in Aquarius. Okay, and Aquarius is all about how are we networking, how are we communicating with each other. Okay, so let's now start the reading for each signs. Okay, so Aquarius, let me start with Capricorn. Okay, so Capricorn, your emotions, your own self view of yourself is having a rebirth and restructuring the way that you think of yourself and how you present yourself in society. Okay, let's go on to Sagittarius. Sagittarius, you are still working with your inner self, like who am I? And trying to figure out what you want to do in your life. This is your own internal focus, Sagittarius. Okay, your astrology is looking at your internal focus, your family life, and the things that you value. Those are kind of coming in to play. Okay, other people's problems, your personal problems, and nighttime would be, I would suggest, would be a great time for you to meditate, even midnight. Okay, that would be great for you to meditate in the IC. And you're dealing with the South Node, so you're dealing with your past life, past relationship, past crappy things that you might have done, and now they're coming into surface in your life and other people's life, but then your own karmic journey, so that you can overcome any of your South Node issues and be stronger and awesome for it, like you are. Okay, Scorpio, you are dealing with third house issues, might be very at the top surface for you, the I think energy, the communication, and everything to do with Gemini, siblings, how you communicate, how you learn, your mind, how you think. So really evaluate how you think and why you think the way you do. Is it intelligent? Is it not? Really looking at yourself and how you think and how it affects your life in this present new moon. Libra, you are looking at second house issues, your money, your finances, what you value, your skills, your personal resources. Your mantra could be I have, okay, where Scorpio is I think. Okay, now Virgo, you have the Fortuna, so you have the luck. So maybe there's a lucky Virgo out there. Play the lottery. I don't know. 15 degrees, 45 minutes. You're in the ascending, so you can really elevate yourself in this position. It's your personal focus. Your personal pursuits, right? So what are you going for? What are your goals? What do you want for yourself? Really reshape the power of your mind. And when being in the first house, it's the I am energy. So your words are powerful. What are you telling yourself? Your awareness of yourself. Really think about that. Uplift yourself with that. Leo, okay? Leo, you are in this. Let me move the chart a little bit. You are in some of you's 12th house or 11th house issues. So it's either you're going through a spiritual kind of change where you can either make that spiritual change really good for yourself, tap into your dreams. What are your dreams saying to you? A dream journal. Others, it will be the 11th house of your groups. Who are you associated with? Is it good for you? What you aspire to do, what you want to do, and your group affiliations. Is your main issue this new moon? Is it good for you? Is it not? So Leos, you guys have those things to focus on. Some Cancer zodiac sign could be 11th house, what I just discussed, your groups, what you aspire to do, who you're associated with, okay, your friendships. Others will be 10th house, some 10th house issues, your career, what you choose to achieve, what you choose to go after, your goals, your own personal power, what your skills are, okay, your reputation, your life status, how are you enjoying your life? These are important things to you this new moon. Gemini is in the MC and with the North Node, so it's your life purpose now. It is your Jupiter energy, where your opposite sign Sagittarius is dealing with some Saturn issues. Okay, even though Saturn is not in that sign, there's still the South Node can have like a Saturn energy, where the North Node can have like a Jupiter energy. So Gemini, you're dealing with expanding yourself. How does your future look? What is unknown to you? What are your challenges? Where are you going? What's your destination? Where are you heading? And what do you need to learn? New things that you need to learn. What can benefit you, Gemini? That's what you're dealing with, okay? So, now moving into Taurus. Taurus, you have Lilith, you have, you have Mars there as well, okay? So that's going to be very powerful alignment for you, okay? You have Lilith, you have Uranus, you have Mars, okay? These are very powerful planets here, okay? Uranus is 6 degrees 43 minutes. Lilith is 9 degrees 20 minutes. Mars is 2 degrees 57 minutes. And don't focus on that if you're not in my time zone, but focus on these three planets. There's a fight. You having Mars and Uranus, it's like a real challenge with things that are not structured well, or may seem unfair, or may seem more stressful, okay? And trying to make sure that you don't look like the bad guy. But then if some of you have things that you need to work on, that's going to be presented because you're so close to the MC that it's your external world that's going to be affected by how you feel, and your relationships, your more private, personal relationships with people will be strongly affected, and dealing with a lot of, some of you could be death, passionate relationships, sex, letting go, money. Some of you will be receiving money you didn't know because you're in that 8th house. Some of you will be experiencing the 9th house energy. Going back to the 8th house, it's how you're sharing your resources and dealing with any kind of family issues or personal issues where it comes with money and sharing whatever your resources are. The ninth house issues could be travel for some of you guys, and how the bigger picture, how you see the bigger picture. You're always looking to the future. So you might be looking to the future more than your present moment. You might be looking at things that affect your travel. Things has to do with law and higher education, everything that the ninth house covers. Okay, philosophy, really getting into things that are written down, that are believed, things that are published, and really the philosophy of things, which I'm going to get to the Hangman in a second, okay? And then the Lilith energy too, you know, really calculating where and what you need to do, right? So all of these energies that's playing here is really trying to find its way in balancing a kind of chaotic energy. And when you see chaotic energy, how you respond to it. Are you going to surrender? Are you going to return that negative energy? How you choose to interpret your Uranus energy, how you're going to choose to handle, manage, interpret your Mars energy. How do you fight for yourself? How do you fight for others? How do you protect your own energy? Okay? And how do you handle things that you lust after is going to come up too. Okay? So Aries, you're looking at healing. You have this Chiron energy here, okay? Your home planet is coming back to you. Mars is coming back to you, hopefully. You know, Aries, you're looking at this Chiron energy of healing. So helping others, but receiving the healing. You're the one that needs healing. You're the one that needs to really look at what is beneficial for you, okay? And how can you not be misunderstood? How can you be more loving and healing to yourself? Okay, so this is very powerful for Aries, because Aries don't like to ask for help. So if you have a wound, if you have something that's broken within, it's about, you know, that greatest pain, that greatest wound, and your identity. And you guys are very powerful. So if there's any kind of healing that you need, you guys can definitely work through that. Okay, that's going to be a very powerful experience for you to work through, to handle. Okay, so let's look at another zodiac. Who's up next? So moving on to Pisces. Okay, so Pisces having Neptune. Of course, you have your Neptune here. Did I tell you your house? I don't think I told Aries. I might have to back up to Aries again. Sorry about that, Aries. Okay, so Aries, looking back, and I don't like to be this messy, hee hee. So the seventh house, you guys might be facing issues with marriage, partnerships, relationship, going back and forth. Others, it could be a really good time for you and your partners to get together, your partner to get together and really to spend quality time to yourself where it's stress-free, and heal yourself, really work on yourself and what's best for you. Okay. All right, now we can move on to Pisces. Okay, so Pisces having this Neptune energy, your home energy, a lot of spiritual work, a lot of using your imagination to free yourself from any kind of negative reality, but bringing yourself back to reality and maybe finding release or joy in helping others, right? Making yourself happy, right? By doing things that are healing, that is really healing, making yourself happy and being that light and that joy for others around you. But make sure that you're filling yourself up first, is what that powerful reading is that's coming in for Pisces, is healing yourself. But also remember that you are in this position of your own personal relationships, right? Making sure that those are strong, your inner world. Make sure that your inner world is really strong, your family, excuse me, the people you know at work, making sure that those relationships, the core, really core important relationships are good, because everything in the world can be super chaotic, as we know right now, but you're just making the people that you know and you love and you care about, making that time for everyone. And I think everyone can vibe on that message, you know, that spiritual, powerful healing message that Pisces bring about meditation and how we can just heal ourselves and do what we need spiritually to grow and to enlighten ourselves. Okay. And being in the seventh house, it's really about looking at too much idealism and not really being realistic about reality, right? So be realistic about reality, okay, with this Neptune in the seventh house, but also know how to free your mind from it and just relax in a healthy, positive way, so that it's not too stressful for you. And then bringing in that creative energy that is needed. Okay, so let's look at the tarot card for the day, the Hanged Man. There's many ways of reading this. I'm not going to read it literally, because you know it's just too much. Okay, but you can look at it literally and say, hey, you know, that's the negative energy, and looking at the spiritual meaning of enlightenment, or thinking of things in a different way, right? How are we perceiving things? How are we thinking of things? I'm starting to have a hiccup and I'm like, no. Okay, so you know, what do we need to let go of? The day's energy, because I picked, you know, I pulled this card. I just set out to the universe, what is the tarot card that we need to know about today? And it's the Hanged Man. So it means letting go, right? And also a reversal. So letting go, what needs to be let go of, right? Our perception, the way that we look at things, the way that we see things, right? Right? So it's it's the highest form of surrendering. So how can you surrender to yourself? If you surrender to yourself, you win, because you're kind of like, okay, let me knock down these walls like the Tower card, and let me really look at the core surface, right? So it's the ultimate surrender, right? And it's also represents a sacrifice, right? So it's hopefully in the most positive way, all right? And it could be painful within our own selves, right? Right? And a feeling of being kind of paused in time, right? So it's like you're pausing in time, looking at everything that's going on, right? This card also represents Neptune, which we just got out of talking about Pisces, okay? And Neptune, I didn't plan it that way, but it happened, right? So it's Neptune, and it's that spirituality, the illusion, right? The imagination, right? So everything that Neptune represents, right? So it's looking at that and saying, okay, within myself right now, how can I look at Neptune and say, okay, how can I use the meaning of Neptune? And this is for everyone, right? What are my fantasies? What are my illusions, right? And what is my imagination? Is it positive? Is it constructive? Does it help me? Does it help everyone around me? And then tap into your spirituality. The spirituality is supposed to free you from any type of forced belief that brings chaos and negativity. Now, the Hangman represents that letting go. I want to get back to that letting go, right? It represents this strong, powerful energy of time as well, right? So I'm going to look at this here. It says the myth of hanging was a common punishment at the time for traitors in Italy. So that's what one of the meaning is in the tarot. So I don't want to go too deeply into that, but I thought, that was very interesting. And I wasn't thinking of anything. I just pulled the card. Okay. So that was very interesting. Okay. And upright, it means breaking old patterns. Okay. So this card, I pulled it upright. It means breaking old patterns, letting go. Okay. Let's look at more definitions of it, right? Suspension. So let's think, what does it mean for you? I take it to the highest level, the most highest level ever. And it's about flipping it and looking at something in a different way. And it comes in with the water element too. So water energy, Neptune, water sign, water is healing, right? And after this hangman card, it is the death card, which is reincarnation, rebirth, transformation. So, leave positive comments only, and just let me know what you think of this reading. Hopefully it applies to you. Okay, let's see if there's anything else I want to say about this card. It represents waiting, and I think that we're in this time period of waiting to see, what is happening. The uncertainty too, and it represents a lack of direction is another interpretation of it. And our perspective. I like that. That's my favorite one, is your perspective. I like the light around the head. It's like that divine light. It's like, let's look at what it represents, okay? And the T is also a cross, and I can't think of what cross it is in Christianity and the meaning behind that, but it also represents that. Okay, we were talking about different cards with someone and some of the different symbolism in the card as well. Okay, so, and it also represents lack of direction. So I can see that energy around today, days leading up to today, lack of direction and the chaos from that. So really, really powerful. And before I go, and I know this video is long, but also 12, today's date, 12 in numerology, right? It's creative, it's individualistic, it's self-expression, okay? So those are some of the meaning for 12. So, and 12 leading up to 3, mind, body, and spirit, when you break it down too. Okay, 3 also means creativity, joy, communication, self-expression, groups, and also fun. Okay, so I'm just wishing everyone well. I hope that this new moon, we still can raise our vibration and set a positive energy, and taking like a master number, okay, taking in some kind of positive message of like cosmic order. Okay, 12, let's think of it as cosmic order, like the cosmos. There is an order to everything, there's a flow to everything, and even in chaos, things will find its way back to being more positive, if you will. Okay, having more of a structure that is needed. Okay, so I hope that everyone sets their positive intention for this new moon. I hope that this reading relates to you, and I will see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching. Peace.